Royal Comedy Tour, Tallboy Experience, hanging out with.
But all of us ain't tall boys, so you just
But right
it's
now I feel like
Tallboy
a
experience.
short.
You
I feel like Showboy because he made me sit down today.
damn right, so we can be even.
Now, the last time I had him standing up, and I
And it
guess
looked bad because I looked like I was talking to your chest.
talk about the Royal Comedy Tour. What does it mean to you?
Well, I have a blast working with cats that I've long respected and worked with. So it's like a family reunion for us. Except nobody borrows money or fights, but it's just a lot of fun, and I think it's the idea that you get to do something you love with people you love is I think an experience most people don't get to have. So I get to have it, every weekend, at least a couple of weekends a month.
So how often are you out on the road?
Well, I'm out. Well, I'm out every week, but we pick this up. We'll do 6 7 days here and 4 or 5 more dates in April. So it's always a pleasure when I get to see Bruce and some more, and DC and Mark and Tony Rock. So it's a lot of fun.
Now you're big into politics, and we just got re-elected President Barack Obama. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that the second time we did it was harder than the first, and I thought that I think it says a lot about us that it wasn't necessarily a mistake, that America did it on purpose, and I think that I've noticed a different kind of he stands a different way. And I think that something about knowing people can't fire you for 4 years it makes you braver, and I think he's doing. I don't understand what. I don't think you can't call a man a tyrant who only wants to make sure people can go to the doctor and don't get shot down in the streets. So I think that's if he's able to accomplish those two things, I think that it's the most. I've never seen anybody do anything that politically dangerous or that brave in my lifetime.
The Republicans, they don't seem to be too happy about the decision.
Well, I think it's when you want something die, and I think their way, their America, their idea of who we are as a country is dying. And I think that, like anything that is seeing its own demise, it fights harder. I think you see now all the others, blacks, Latins, women, gays, Asians, everybody who was considered an other stood up in one voice, and they didn't have a say in it. And I think, it's a different country when 4 years ago they wanted to build a wall to keep the Mexicans out to giving them a welcome mat. So, so I think we've definitely started to keep the promise that the Constitution made.
All right, now you're known for your political commentary. Where can people find you?
Hopefully not in jail, but no. No, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook.
No, I mean, last time you were on CNN and you were doing something with them, and then you were doing a political commentary.
I just kind of, I'm not. I don't belong to a team. I try to say what it is I believe, and I think that I never really kind of know where I'm gonna be invited, and when I am, I try to be as truthful and as unvarnished as possible. So, if anybody invites me, whatever kind of platform, I always feel kind of like I'm gonna do and say what it is I believe.
Right, you just wrote a book, Uncle Sam. I'm gonna let you say it because I don't.
Well, you don't cuss.
I do.
Never. It's called I want you to shut the fuck up. How the audacity of dopes is ruining America. I mean, when you look at it, we're a country now where it's almost psychotic. If I go to a store to buy 2 packs of Sudafed, I have to tell everybody what I'm doing. But I can buy 10,000 bullets and nobody can argue about that. If you applied for a job where you were going to get to carry a gun, they would give you a psychological evaluation, and you had to submit to a psychological evaluation, and you have to have a background check. If you just to have a job with a gun, but any fool can buy as many guns as they want, and nobody says anything about it. 40% of the guns purchased in this country are purchased without a background check. You can go to a gun show. You can get denied at a store to buy a gun. They can say, "No, man, we're not gonna sell you a gun." And you can walk down the street and go to a gun show and get all the guns you want. I think that there's a level that's neurosis. That's neurotic. That's you. How can you even think that that's normal?
It's crazy.
It is, and I think that we're getting when 20 children are murdered in our street at a school, and somebody can go, well, that's the price of doing business in America. Then how could you believe that God shows us any kind of favor? We are obligated, and people who take on the mantle of Christianity are supposed to take care of the poor and the the mentally challenged and the weak and the children, and we seem to forget that.
Now we're transitioning into guns and all this stuff. The shooting in Newtown, the shootings in Chicago. Actually, we just had one in Atlanta, I believe, earlier this week.
4 people will be dead by the time we finish this interview. Listen, between 1960 the 1960s to right now, 575,000 people have died. 575,000 people. And if that doesn't tell you that, and I'm not opposed to guns, I just don't believe you need a gun with 30 rounds. I think, to me, you're never going to get, people always say gun laws don't work, only because there are only so many things you can do because we're so attached to them. But I think if everybody had to have a background check, every gun had to be, you had to register to buy every gun, and anybody who sold a gun was responsible. If I am a bar owner and somebody drinks at my bar and I know they're drunk and they go out and have an accident, I'm liable. If I sell somebody a gun and that gun is used in the commission of a crime, they should be liable for it.
So you're not opposed to guns, you're just not.
I grew up on 135th and Avalon. But when did you start needing 30? My father used to have a 38 in a baseball bat. When did we start? And really, the argument is flawed. That nobody needs 30 rounds or 100 rounds to protect their home. What they believe is that they're going to have to fight the government. They believe that they need to have the same weapons as the military and as the police department, so they're on equal footing with them. That's tyranny. That's terrorism. When somebody believes that they're going to take arms against the government, that's Timothy McVeigh. That's terrorism.
I gotta agree with you.
So I'm not opposed to guns at all. They're very necessary, but I think that our affinity for if you told me that we have to lose 12,000 people, like more women are killed by people they know by the gun in their home than anybody else. They're more likely to be killed by someone they know with a gun in their home. If you don't believe, it's 12,000 people that are murdered by guns. 32,000 every year die by guns. 32,000. Suicide, accidents, so that's almost 10% of our country.
Well, I got to ask you this, because we grew up in an age or in an era where we didn't have this problem, but now we have this problem.
We always did. We didn't have social media, and we didn't talk about it all the time. We didn't have a 24-hour news cycle. The problems in America that have always existed. What we allowed ourselves to do is to believe that this is some kind of new phenomenon. What we know now is that every single thing you do, somebody could tweet a picture or be on Facebook, so there's more information. So I think that there have always been pedophilia, there's always been drug use, there's always been murders, but we have never had to take a look at ourselves. And I think the only way that anybody ever changes, like if you want to lose weight, they say you have to count your calories, a scale in the mirror, because that forces you to see yourself. And this country has never had to take a real good look at itself.
Think big, think tall, think